everyone? Good? Good. Beautiful day. We're going to have another heat wave by the end of the week. So summer is here.
You're promising.
I'm promising. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let me start with a couple of announcements. Beginning with a couple new staff members I want to be sure that you have an opportunity to meet. First of all, we have our new Chief Financial Officer, Scott Taylor, joined us last week. And I had a great deal of peace of mind this Monday when he came back after his first week. So I thank him every day for continuing to come back. You know what it's like to start a new job and get thrown in the deep end of the pool, and he is doing a great job so far, really getting up to speed with all things Glen Meadow. And I'm going to ask him to come up and say a few words of introduction so you can all get to see him.
Hello, everyone. Scott Taylor, I am real, I am here. Been here for just over a week. It's great to see you all. I'm excited to be here. I'm coming to you from Bay State Health. I was there for 9 years, where I was most recently serving as the Vice President for Finance Support Services. So in that capacity, I had oversight of all Treasury, accounts payable, payroll, accounting, all that sorts of fun stuff. So I'm local to the area. I grew up in Wilbraham. I cut my teeth down in Southern Connecticut at an undergraduate, and I moved back here to raise a family. So my folks live about a mile from where I grew up, or I live a mile from where I grew up. So it's great to have family close by. I've got 2 young daughters. They're not young anymore, they're growing now. My oldest is a sophomore, just finishing up her sophomore year in high school, and then I have a 6th grader. So a big gap, but I've just relieved myself of Uber duties, so I'm no longer shuffling my oldest around. She can drive now, which is exciting. But I'm happy to be here. I'm getting into all the systems, trying to get my head around the operating model here, looking at the financials, looking at all the operating flows ins and outs. So hoping to get up to speed as quickly as I can. The staff has been great here. I've met a bunch of the residents, so again, very excited to be here. And I'm right next to Kathy. If anyone has any questions or wants to have discussions, I'm open. Doors open anytime. So great to be here.
Thank you. We also hired recently a new Assistant Director of Maintenance. Right? Oh, we had been searching for quite a while, and we're very pleased to hire Eddie Heredia, who is not able to be with us today. I don't see him. You may have seen him in the hallways already. He, like Scott, is just diving into all things Glen Meadow, doing a really fantastic job. And he comes to Glen Meadow at a really important time from the facilities and maintenance perspective, because John Blair is out on leave for a little while. So we're really throwing Eddie into the deep end of the pool. So he will be taking a leadership role while John is away. And we will look forward to welcoming John back when he is ready. One other staffing announcement. As you know, Megan Carrier has been here for 9 years and continues to take on more and more responsibility. She has really become my right hand in all things Glen Meadow. And with Scott's arrival and his title as Chief Financial Officer, I have changed Megan's title to Chief Operating Officer. It is really a reflection. Yes, congratulations, Megan. It is a reflection of the work that she is already doing. There are no new additional responsibilities that come with it, but she does get some new business cards. So very happy to have her in that role as well. So, occupancy. The story is the same. Independent living continues to go very, very well for us. We are at just 90% occupied right now, with 2 move-ins scheduled for the month of June, and I think 1 or 2 additional apartments on hold. We do have a lot of interest in our 2-bedroom apartments, and that is what is happening industry-wide. That prospective residents want to have a guest room or use it as an office. So our 2-bedroom apartments continue to be very popular. On the assisted living side, we continue to struggle. We're at about 65% occupancy. So we are continuing to do all we can from a marketing perspective and a sales perspective. And as you know, because the assisted living portion of our community is small, when we have losses in assisted living, that significantly impacts us. And that is what has happened very recently. As you know, we've had several residents who have passed away in assisted living. Glen Meadow at Home continues to really work hard in the community and at Glen Meadow as well. We're still at about 1,600 hours weekly. We're looking to get that number up a bit more as well. So in some ways, the news is good that it is consistent, but we also recognize the opportunities that we have to increase our occupancy in assisted living and to add more clients to Glen Meadow at Home. When we last met, I shared with you that the board of directors approved a feasibility study for memory care at Glen Meadow. I wanted to give you just a brief update of where we are with that. We are still very much in the early stages of that work. Keep in mind that the priority for the board and for me is to add memory care at Glen Meadow. We are not looking to build a memory care community on a secondary location. We want to have memory care embedded in our organization and in our culture, and as part of our continuum of care. So there are a couple of things that are happening right now that are really the foundational pieces of that feasibility study. First is a site plan. We have a civil engineer who's looking at our plot of land to see where we might be able to build. We are also doing a really in-depth baseline financial analysis, and it has a couple of important purposes. One is it's really going to help Scott get up to speed on the last 140 years. But it's also going to help us to better understand what our 10-year projections look like and beyond. So that's the work that's underway right now. The goal is still to have a recommendation to the board of directors in September. So we'll keep you updated as there's more information to share. Megan has some updates.
Hello. Hello. Hi, everyone. I have quite a few updates, but I'm going to put this down for 1 second and grab the clicker here. All right. My first update, I'm going to go out of order here. So we had a fun fire drill for some of you this afternoon. I hope that you all did that okay. If you don't know about it, don't worry. It was a isolated incident, so not everywhere in the building it happened. We had one the other day as well, and I believe everyone got the memo we had about the generator and such. So I just wanted to reiterate that. At this point, we did send the memo about the fire drill that we had, but just as a reminder, our generator right now is not functioning. We know that, we've talked about that before. I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware that we have accommodated that we make sure we have the flashlights downstairs in our emergency closet there, but do want to remind people that it is a good practice to have flashlights available as well. Our generator is working and would be operational in time, but it will not be immediate. That is the big distinct difference here. So I do want to reiterate that. I know that sometimes the verbiage of is the generator working or not is the question. The generator itself works. It's the switch that turns it on immediately. that is not working. We have it on order. I just got confirmation today that it's on order as scheduled, but of course, everything takes a long time now if you get anything delivered. So that's in process. Is any questions about that? Okay, I knew we'd have one. Bill,
I
yes.
want to know how many staff members or employees know how to switch from the generator that, I'm told that can be done manually.
It cannot be done by any of our employees.
Oh.
It has to be done through an electrician. So we would have to have our electrician come on site and go through a lot of wires. I will tell you, he said a number that I couldn't believe, the amount of wires that would need to manually be switched, and it is an excessive amount, which is why we are not right now calling him for if we lose power for half hour or so, we're not calling immediately, because by the time he gets it all done, the street power will be back on. So we are reserving that, and that's why I am sharing this with all of you, so you understand that we do have the abilities to change over to it, but it wouldn't be that immediate as we have been used to, that wonderful, oh, it only goes off for 5 seconds, and then it comes back on like nothing happened. That will be the case in September. I have talked to the fire chief. We've reiterated that what systems we have in place right now, reiterated that's all we can do for the moment. They are fully aware that if there's a power outage, that Glen Meadow does not have an immediate generator, but knows that there's the potential. But our staff could not transition over it successfully. We don't have an electrician that could do that on staff.
A
Joan?
question about the fire alarm
Yep.
and how they're ringing in different places in the building, and how both the last one and this one rang in my section of the building. But as I looked out in the hall, none of the doors closed, and I just took it as some kind of practice. And so I didn't move. And is that what we're supposed to do?
Right. You are. It's an isolated incident in that time. So it's not something that is ringing throughout the whole building. And in those, you do not have to do the full evacuation. And that is on that evacuation guide that we have at Concierge. I will tell you that why yours went off is interesting, because that's not where the location was. So we are looking at that. You get a lot of extra alarms. I don't know why that yours does that, and I apologize. Maybe, yeah, I know. So we actually have contacted the vendor to talk about why that goes off. It does alert exactly where the location of the incident is on my cell phone. I think Kathy gets the cell phone to know we know all the right information about what apartment is actually causing the alarm to go off. In this case, it was an isolated incident. There was an incident in an apartment, and it was attended to right away. But you did have an extra alarm, just in your section. And I'm sorry, I don't know why.
It sounds and it stops,
Yes, that's,
and then it starts again.
yep, that's what it should do for an isolated alarm. Yours goes on constantly. You are, what department number are you? Remind me what, 204. That makes a little more sense on why that apartment would have had alarm today. Everyone is different and it means different things. The fire department fully understands what each of those mean. Luckily, we don't need to know all of those details. You just need to know that if it's going off constantly in your section, you should have gone over there. That is the right thing to do. If yours is going off constantly, you should evacuate your apartment. If you're getting the short blast, you don't have to.
It's not really a short blast, it lasts 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so if those are happening, go to your gathering areas. If any of those alarms are happening, you don't have to in that case. In this case, what I would say to you is it was isolated. You're welcome to come down. You're welcome to find out. If you're not seeing the doors closing, let us know. The alarm the other day that we had, the full-scale alarm, it reassured us that when it does go into a full-scale alarm, everything works the way that it should. That one was an isolated incident, therefore they shouldn't all close, which is what happened today. Was there a sounding item that went off? Yes, that shouldn't have been the case, but I'd rather have more notification than less notification, but we are working on that.
Should I have my alarm checked?
Yours specifically, no, but hers we will. And we've already contacted the vendor. They're gonna be coming out and sending a specialized technician to look at that to make sure. But all the systems were in place, the fire department came, they looked at everything, they reassured us that it's all working correctly. We just unsure of why an extra alarm was going off. For safety reasons, that's the good news, at least it's extra alarms, not less alarms. More questions about that? That was only my first subject. Oh my, I know. Okay, my other subjects I have here, I'm gonna go into the next one, is something that has come up that we've heard more about is audio recording and video recording. And we're not talking about Corey recording here, that one's okay. We have recordings for these events. We've had an increase in people looking to record conversations and stuff, and I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page in regards to what is okay and what is not okay. So Massachusetts is a two-party consent state. So no recording without consent. So if you're wondering, if you're having a conversation and you're concerned, I may not remember everything here, may I record? You have to ask for consent that the person is okay with recording the conversation. Everyone must agree to it. You can't secretly record a conversation that you're having with someone. We just can't do that. Any questions on that? And you can always decline. I will say, our staff, because a lot of our conversations we're having are private conversations, personal conversations. We may say, we prefer you don't record it, but we will give you a summary of the discussion afterwards. Mostly because these are private conversations, recording is a little more invasive, and it does limit the conversation that you may have at that time. But we're happy to give a summary of the discussion afterwards. And then the other area that's come up is cameras. I wanted to reiterate, we have cameras throughout the building. As you enter, there is signage on the doors that say we have cameras through the building. The apartments themselves are your own apartments. So residents, you may choose to use cameras in your apartments if you want to. That is your right to do so. They cannot record audio unless you're sharing that, you are doing that with everyone. The video is okay. Most cameras nowadays come with that setting already in place that says it doesn't have any audio recording, it's just the visual, which is why they do that, is because of all the regulations. But as I said there, and we do want to make sure you have privacy. We don't want those in private areas, obviously. And we do require our staff to let you have those. So we prefer to have everyone anticipate that cameras could be around the apartments. In common areas, that is different though. I do want to reiterate, there is no expectation of privacy in that sense, which is why we didn't ask you all, is it okay if we record you here during Kathy's Corner and we're recording? This is a common area space, and there's no expectation of privacy in that setting, which is why photos and videos are allowed. I want to reiterate, you should be respectful. we're not going to zoom in on you right now, just because you're sitting there. That wouldn't be an appropriate use, but obviously we're recording me in the conversation so people can see it. But we want to make sure that we're respectful of community life. We don't want to make people uncomfortable in settings. We have had visitors come to programs and really love the craft we're doing and just want to take a video of their mom or their friend doing something. That's okay, but we want to be respectful that you're not going up to someone that you don't know and taking a video of them. Kind of makes sense? Makes reasonable? I just wanted to reiterate that because I will see cameras and phones are everywhere nowadays and everyone's recording everything, and there's lots of those conversations. So I have not seen it as much as I have recently, so it was important that we just talked about it, and we have reiterated with staff as well. So that was topic 2. Questions? All right, the next wonderful topic, Clean Out Day tomorrow, woohoo! And I want to thank the Resident Association. Do I see Paula here? Paula, Paula, I didn't see you over there. My goodness. For bringing this up. Really, it was a great idea that was brought forward to play a game of Your Trash, My Treasure, and I will invite Paula, if there's anything I miss in explaining this, please feel free to jump in. We want to give you a chance to clean out items that you no longer need and pass them on to your neighbors. And we've opted to have 2 locations that we're going to do this in, the Solarium and the theater. And we just want to reiterate, items cannot be massive items. They need to be able to fit on the table. Since this is the first time we're doing it, we want to make sure that we're doing it and it makes sense in the scale that we have. So we're looking for items that can fit on a 6-foot table in these locations. I can't do 6 foot. So around there. So nothing that is of large scale, that's going to be very heavy to get out of your apartment, to put on a table that may or may not be taken. So I want to just reiterate that. And once you put the item on the table, consider that donated. You're not necessarily coming back to see if your item is taken or not taken. At the end of the day, we will be disposing of those items. So I just wanted to reiterate that. We did move it to 4 o'clock because we do have the community gathering, and we hope people go and take a look at things during the community gathering tomorrow. And we did open it up that staff afterwards can look through for that final hour there, after all the residents have had a chance to look through everything, before it goes straight into the trash. So I just want people to know that. So I don't, not to be disposed of in that sense. So I don't want people to think that once items are, staff will not be going through and saying, save this for me later. We wanted to give them an opportunity too, because it could be treasure for them. And it's really great that we can give people an opportunity for that. Any questions?
What time does it start?
I will see what time we're putting up the tables. I would say pretty early. I would say, let me find out. I gotta ask Eddie what time we're gonna put the tables up in the morning. 9? I would say by 9 for sure. It might be earlier. That's the only thing I'm thinking. And I will ask what time they'll put them up. I don't know if Melissa, you know what time we said? No.
The clean out day is 9 to 3, so.
Clean out day is technically 9 to 3, so I would say that's probably an appropriate time. So thank you. And also everyone here that's not familiar with clean out day, it's just an opportunity for you to be able to clean out your apartment a little bit. There are some guidelines in that, and the other part of that day tomorrow is not just trash or treasure, it's also the clean out day in general. So any items that you have, it's an opportunity to go through, add things to the recycling rooms. There's a few more baskets out than we normally have, and we invite you to help do that cleaning out of your apartments. Questions there? All right. That was the second item. So the third item I have here is what came up last time. So our housekeeping sequence. We have done some changes in our housekeeping department in regards to the schedules. I think we are working through pretty well to make sure that the schedules work for everyone, and have had some conversations. So thank you for all your patience. One of the questions that came up is, what are the items that get cleaned? I'm sorry this is small, but I wanted to show people here, and I'm happy to share this as well. And I have worked through the housekeeping team to determine what is the right order of doing things. That has come up numerous times, so we have a sheet here. I will also share, we have allowed for the housekeepers to have slight discretion with the residents themselves. So if you have a preference on cleaning of your apartment that's out of this order, we've said that's okay, of course, but I want to give you some expectations in regards to what you should expect through their visit with you. This is a very abbreviated version of the cleaning sequence. The second page here is a much more in detailed version as well. I don't expect you to be able to read this or see this, but I wanted you to be able to know that we do have a sequence of doing things that's based on some information that we've done, some research we've done, and some different things that I learned a lot by all this research. My husband is very happy that I've learned so much, but learning a lot about what's the correct order to do things that helps make sure that infection control goes through the apartment correctly, and we make sure that things are clean and tidy as we leave. So that is the clean sequence. I'm happy to share that more elsewhere. I don't want to go through the whole thing right now because that could take the whole time, but I wanted you to know that it does exist. It's written down, and I'm happy to show it to you later. Questions about that? All right, yes?
Something's supposed to be cleaned out every year?
An annual cleaning.
Yeah, what is that?
So our annual cleaning, I don't have that paper right now, is a little more in detail, and there is other items that get cleaned. What we've done is we've realized how hard it is for us to get to every apartment for an extended amount of time to do an annual cleaning. So what we've done is actually John created a checklist of items that get done for the annual cleaning, which are the larger items. I believe it's the windows, the baseboards, there's a couple other, I just don't have it on the top of my head right now. And what we're doing is when the housekeeping team that does your normal cleaning goes in, we're asking them that if they have time to do one of those items or even two of those items that are in your annual cleaning, they can do them in their regular scheduled time and have you sign off on it. So you may not get a 6-hour block of time where there's coming in to do an annual cleaning. You'll get a paper that signs and says, on this day, we clean the baseboards. So it's not the traditional time that we have that we go in to do it all, but we're making sure that we do all of the items throughout the year is what the goal is going to be. This is new, so it is something, some of you may have seen it. I know we've started it with some residents, but we'll work on that specifically. And each housekeeper, as they get to know your apartments, may find that they have more time to do those items. So that's in place as well. Any questions? We have had some changes in the housekeeping department, so I appreciate your patience in regards to all of the changes in the schedule, and we'll continue to work through that. Jesus and I have been working on the schedule just overall, so thank you. All right, those were my items I have papers for. My last one, sorry, just one more, is the warmer weather is here, and I wanted to just reiterate that we appreciate all of your time and coming out to the Doorstop Lounge. I do want to reiterate that when people go outside to eat, please order at the lounge, what would you call that, kiosk? Desk, well, maybe the bar, the lounge. Counter, thank you. That's a much better word. I don't know why I couldn't find that one. Order at the counter before you go outside, because we don't always notice that someone else's new is sitting out there, and we don't increase necessarily the staffing to have also table service outside. So please just order inside. We'll definitely bring food out to you once your food has been here, but sometimes we don't realize that people are sitting out there. We thought you were just going for a walk, so there seems to be some confusion there. So please just remember to order before you go outside. All right, thank you all. I'm sorry to take up so much time.
And Michael Schoen had a couple of announcements.
Good afternoon. I don't normally take up Kathy's corner. I need to get special permission to occupy some time here, so thank you. It's really just one announcement, more of I just want to share some information and ask something of everybody here today. So the latter end of last year, Glen Meadow partnered up with a mental health group called Behavioral Health Network, BHN for short. What this service provides is on-site counseling. Rather than you having to drive to an office to go meet someone there, they come here. This is a scarcity in communities like this. You know, you have them in nursing homes, hospitals, that's it. So really, you know, we found something special here with being able to have a licensed counselor, a clinician come in to provide this sort of service, because we all know how important mental health is to all pillars of our wellness, right? So about a month ago, I sent out a flyer like this with 3 pages on it. I sent out about 145, however many residents we have now. I got 12 back. Everyone got one, I assure you, because I put them in the stackers myself. It's okay, I have other copies. So if you lost yours, if you threw it away, come to me and we can do it together. But not responding doesn't tell me you're not interested. It tells me that maybe you put it down and you were gonna get to it later and you forgot. I do that all the time. And my wife reminds me, did you do this? And I'm like, yep, and then I go do it. So, you know, just to share a little bit, you know, maybe I wasn't detailed enough in the notification I sent out, but, you know, this is for one-to-one counseling. That's at your own discretion with the counselor. My only job is to refer you and get you hooked up. You know, as far as the rapport you build, how often you meet, that's all between you two. You build your own sort of trust with one another. They don't share anything with me or with anyone else unless you give them permission. the mental health counselor that is in here now, because I just recently switched counselors because the other one had to leave, she also is a certified music therapist, and she is interested in doing a small group here. And the concept of the group can be about anything, grief and loss, just generalized mental health, but it's something that would be kind of new and exciting here. And with the responses I did get, I do have the minimal amount to get this started, but I really feel like I didn't catch enough fish in my net here, at least in terms of responses. You know, if you're not interested, that's perfectly fine. I don't take that personally. You might not be interested ever, you might just not be interested now. Or again, if you want to know more about it before making an informed decision, come to me and we'll talk about it privately. Just because you say yes doesn't mean you're signing up for it. The stuff is covered by insurance. You do have to complete some paperwork with me, and then I send that off to them, and then they make contact with you, and that's what gets the ball rolling. So I would really appreciate it if you all took a couple of minutes to fill out this 4-question survey and get it back to me. And again, if you don't have it, just contact me directly and we'll get it done. Are there any questions before I hand the mic back over? All right, thank you.
Okay, now it's your favorite part. What questions do you have for me? Barb?
I have 2 things, Kathy. The first thing is when we lost power to our TV, not in general, but just to the TV, you did a very good job of getting Comcast over here to repair their problem.
Thank you.
I really appreciated that.
Of course.
And the second thing is, please, please, please see that the pool temperature of the water is at least 87.
At least
Many of us
87.
are in our 90s, and we just don't want to be chilled when we're trying to sleep and
Sure.
swim in our lovely pool.
Okay.
Please make it be at least 87.
I will pass that along to our maintenance team.
And that's what it was when I first came here
Okay.
about 5 years ago. It was always 87. It was wonderful.
Okay.
So please see it when you.
We'll look into it. We'll look into it. Thank you. Sure. Anyone else? Nancy?
I'd like to go back because, and ask Megan a question.
Sure, right here.
And it has to do with the cameras. Because I think, I don't know how many people have the Ring bells that have cameras and whatever on their apartments, but it seems like almost everybody has one there. And when you go, when I go to your apartment, at your invitation, and whatever, I have no idea if the camera is on or off with those Ring bells.
So sorry, go ahead.
And I've been at people's apartments where they have Ring bells. And I've even been to people's apartments where, for other reasons, I know that the Ring bell has a camera. And I now realize that I was probably filmed without my permission.
So one of the things with that is, so what the question is, a lot of residents and people in general have Ring cameras. I do not have one, so I'm going to ask a question in a moment because I think I know the answer, but I want to check. The Ring cameras, they don't have audio unless you turn on the audio. Correct. So that is the difference. And the Ring camera is typically focused outside of the apartment to see who's coming into the apartment. There is no expectation of privacy in the hallways there for that sense. Does it mean that we have cameras in the hallways right now? No, we do not have cameras in every hallway right now. But there is no expectation, as that is a common area of the building. And there's no audio. And that is the key factor here. It's the audio part that is the two-party consent. The cameras in the main locations or in the common areas are allowed for use. That's why I stated that there's no expectation of privacy. So I would hope that anyone that has those cameras isn't turning on the audio, and we want to just reiterate, that's the part that makes it something that you need consent for. And the doors in the building, as you enter, do have signs saying that you may be being recorded at any moment in the building here.
So if I come to your apartment and you have a ring bell,
Mm-hmm.
you may or may, just clarify for me, you may or may not have a camera on that ring bell?
They have a camera, they don't have audio. So they have the visual, but it's the sound, it's the talking and the recording of the talking that is the problem that we would need consent for, not the visual.
So anybody can, anybody that's sitting in this room, if I go to their apartment and ring the bell, I can be photographed going in there
Yes,
without my consent.
right,
And they can do whatever they want with that photograph.
right. Just like, I mean, to be honest, walking down the street, someone could take a photograph of you, and and that's honestly why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because it is so common nowadays. I mean, Google has photos of all of us probably somewhere in our lives on their website. When you look at the Google Maps, every one of us has a great picture of us probably in a driveway or something, mowing our lawn. Any other questions?
I have a comment.
Yes. You have a comment?
I've had a Ring doorbell for years.
Mm-hmm.
It takes the picture.
Mm-hmm.
You can turn off the audio. And it's only taking a picture out when you ring the, well, I don't know, mine was on all the time.
Yeah.
Mine would alert me that somebody was out in my driveway, and that's why I had it.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can change the settings
yeah,
on
I
it.
can do all that, but it
Yeah.
it does record. As soon as you come near it, it'll record.
In this kind of setting, you wouldn't want your Ring camera to be motion activated every time someone walked by your door, right? So you would get a chime on your phone saying, activity has been detected at your door, right? So the goal really of this conversation is just to help you be a little bit more aware of the legal requirements and the legal limitations really of recording audio. And because we're in a much more ubiquitous time as far as video goes, we wanted to just raise your level of awareness. We can certainly have one-on-one conversations with specific questions, but this isn't, we're not trying to create alarm by any means, but just want you to be aware of what the legal limitations are.
Candy,
Yes.
one thing I really appreciated, because I think I brought it up here a little while ago, and that was people saying who they are as they enter your room.
Yes.
My name is, I'm Joan, and I'm here to help you do this, right?
Yes.
So they say their name as they enter, so you don't have to strain and see, are they wearing their little...
Their name tag,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and that's a good reminder that when we are entering your apartments, knocking and letting you know who we are is really important. We're entering your home. So I appreciate that reminder, Barb. Thank you. Other questions?
Is resident Wi-Fi ever going to be fixed?
Is resident Wi-Fi ever going to be fixed? Really good question. There goes Megan. I was going to think about that chief operating officer title. We are in deep conversations with Paragus, who is our IT provider, on improving the functionality of Wi-Fi across the community. We are calling it the Wi-Fi can of worms. Because that's exactly what it's going to be. So know that it is a high priority for us. We are looking at what the best option is to correct the challenges that we have. It's not that Wi-Fi doesn't work, it's just not really reliable. And we need it to be reliable. So know that we are working on it. And actually we have a meeting tomorrow to get some more information on what their recommendations are.
And I would just add to that, please don't stop letting us know if it's not working. So we are under the assumption that if you're not coming to us that it must be working for you. So if you have times where it is not working consistently, just let us know. We'd like to track that, and we'd like to know where that's happening. Because it's going to be extremely important for us in our communications to fix it, is to fully understand where the problems are happening. So you can keep a little notebook and write, when you were having trouble. We just want to have all the information we can so we can share it with this team, because we only go based on what we're being told. There's lots of different networks in this building, and we need more information to help solve this problem.
Helene?
Yes, I have a financial problem.
Okay.
As you know, Kathy, probably everybody here, when me and my husband moved in, we had to give a certain amount of money.
Yep.
Now that he's gone, do I get something back because I'm a one person now?
Why don't we talk separately about it, and we can talk about your specific situation. Yeah. Yes.
Back to the generator. After you contact an electrician, how long does it take that electrician to restore the connection? Because I know it's very intricate, I know you need a special electrician, not just any electrician. to do this.
Right.
So the electrician that's going to be doing the ATS switch has reassured us that they would be coming out to do it if we called them and we needed it for an extended period of time. It will take a couple of hours. It could take 3 to 4 hours, is the high estimate, but that's once they've got here, because it's a lot of wires. So just moving over. I'm glad you know, because you understand the scale of this, and I hope you understand that's why we're not jumping quickly to do this every single time. And we don't lose power that much, thankfully. I'm gonna say that and knock on wood, we find some. But I just wanna reiterate that it will be just some time if we had to. But I am really thankful that we could do that if something did encourage that to happen. But it would be a couple of hours.
At least. What about
Yes.
the elevators? Would it work?
The elevators would not work because we don't have the generator. So that's another one of the reasons there. Yes. And we know this is unfortunate. It's not something that we would have ever counted on. As I spoke to the emergency professionals, they said the same thing unfortunately happened to them at some point too. So it's just unfortunate right now, and we're working on getting it as fast as we can. And trust me, I'm on them.
Tanya?
I go to the movies every night, and at least twice a week, I get up and leave because they are such unhappy movies.
Okay.
I don't want to see them just before I'm
Go
going
to
to try
sleep.
to go to sleep.
Sure.
And yet it is claimed that residents pick out all the movies that we see. I cannot believe that.
Okay, so the comment is that the movies that are shown each night are far too sad, and that we should have happier movies before people are thinking about going to sleep. But when Tanya has asked this before, the comment has been made that residents choose the movies. So, Connie, you wanted to say something.
I get a lot of movie requests in the suggestion box, the little birdhouse in the mailroom. So all those movies, when, they are resident requested, I think I understand what Tanya's saying. Do you think maybe we need a staff member with a little committee of people to look at some of the titles? I don't know what the solution is, but they have been mostly, all the ones now have been recommended by residents.
Okay. I am going to ask Kinga to look into this a little bit more and come up with a solution that meets everybody's needs.
May I?
Yeah.
Perhaps providing a little synopsis of the plot so that a person can then judge, do I want to go or do I not want to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a
I think we
synopsis
do
of
that.
Because
Yeah.
she's new.
otherwise you're limiting other people's choices.
Correct. And this is the challenge with community living, right? So I appreciate the feedback, and Kinga will work her magic.
I do just want to reiterate, where is the synopsis? Is it at the concierge?
No,
living room.
it's in the living room.
In the family living room, just so you know.
I don't think there's
There's usually a little synopsis
To
of
the left of
itself.
the fireplace.
You probably haven't even noticed it. That's okay. Yes, well, I hope that that's there, but I just want to read it. There is the synopsis, but certainly we can continue to talk about it.
The suggestion should be that someone should read the synopsis. I don't know, I'm just,
Yeah.
my mouth is just moving right
Okay. All right. Any last questions? All right, thanks for coming, everybody, for such a lively conversation.